one, and that's going to be a present for Jody. I'm going to fill it up with some type of candy for her one of her Easter gifts. And I did buy another special Easter gift, and I will let y'all in on that once it arrives. But it's tied to Douglas Brothers, and they're celebrating their 150th year this year. Douglas Brothers.
Wow.
So I got something on order, and I think she'll be very pleased. But anyway, the Pike County Cattlemen's Association next Saturday will have their annual sale. You can sell just about anything there.
Auction. It's an auction.
You can drive through several days, but the Pike County Cattlemen's will have their annual auction.
Equipment auction, isn't it?
It's equipment and a lot of different things.
Okay.
And baseball last night, Michael, Mr. Mike, the University of South Alabama defeated Troy 6-0.
Oh boy!
So we dropped to 2-2 in the conference, 13-11 overall. Tonight they'll play again at 6:30, and tomorrow they'll play at 1 o'clock. Next Tuesday, we travel to Birmingham to play Sanford at Joe Lee. That's my daddy's name.
Okay.
Joe Lee Griffin Stadium. That's on Tuesday, April the 6th. The Lady Trojans will start their play tonight as they host Georgia Southern. The Lady Trojans are 22-6 on the season. They're 6-0 in the conference. They'll play tonight at 5, and then tomorrow they'll play a doubleheader starting at 12 noon. And that means both teams will be off for Easter. And, of course, the Easter Sunday is this weekend. And hope everybody has safe travels to and from. And, it's my favorite time of year. Easter is the resurrection. It gives you a chance to rededicate your life to our Lord and Savior. And I love planning and that kind of stuff. And spring's in the air, the birds are chirping, and it's my favorite time of year.
Last night at First Methodist Church, they had a real somber ceremony. What is it called? Maudlin Thursday, or I'm getting the name wrong, but a special presentation, and my wife Carrie sang and had a part in the thing. And Sunday at Easter, we're all going. The Rice family, Bobby and Molly and their kids are going to join us at First United Methodist Church Sunday, and then we'll have to decide where we're going for Easter Sunday dinner after that.
That sounds good.
We're either going to Salem Baptist Church in the Raleigh community. It's kind of in between Woodbury, Manchester, and Warm Springs. That's Jody's home church, is Salem Baptist Church. That's where we were married on the 21st day of July, 1990. Mm-hmm. And we'll either be there or at Little Oak Methodist. Little Oak will have our service at 8 o'clock that morning, and we're going to have outside under the trees. And we'll also have an Easter egg hunt after that.
And then you also noted in your research that you had some interesting stories about the opening day of Major League Baseball. And one of them being that several games were played in, well, at least one was played in a heavy snowfall, and probably most of them were played in terrible cold weather.
Right. Well, Miguel Cabrera, he hit a home run for the Detroit Tigers in the snow. It was like big flakes were coming down. Well, he could not follow the ball, so he slid into second thinking there was going to be a play at second base. He got up and looked at the umpires, and they circled him around, so he actually hit a home run and scored. And Detroit beat the Cleveland Indians 3-2. But that was, I saw it on the replay this morning.
How many games do you see baseball games played in snowfall? That's pretty rare.
That was, and the Atlanta Braves lost 3-2, and the Nationals, the Washington Nationals, they delayed their game because of COVID. They've got several players with COVID, so that game has been suspended till further notice. And another thing, and I'm sure when Michael calls in, there's over 1,000 basketball players in the transfer portal since the season.
Oh, boy.
Over 1,000, and the number is growing every day. And I read an article last week where Florida has 4 or 5 scholarship players who are leaving the program and entering the transfer portal. 5 scholarship players from the University of Florida. And Troy's lost several. South Alabama's losing them.
Well,
South Alabama's getting them too.
You can do the math. I'm going to guess that there are about 300, 250 Division I basketball programs. I think each program has 13 scholarship players. So of those, 1,000 have already entered the transfer portal, and there'll be more.
Well, look, that's, Roy Williams retired, the longtime coach at the University of North Carolina.
Yeah, that's right.
He's 70, fixed to turn 71, won several national championships, over 900 victories. I'm sure that could be one of the things.
Contributing
but,
factors.
Just look at Coach Cross at Troy University or the coach at Florida. How in the world do you keep your players in the program? How do you trust that they're going to mature through their stay at your program? All of them aren't lottery picks. Mm-hmm. Maybe 4 in the country are lottery picks, maybe 5.
Yeah.
But there's some big-time players leaving their programs. There's a 7-foot center from North Carolina. I read a little bit that he may be coming to Auburn. Well, they're not happy where they are. I think it's because the I syndrome. There's no team concept anymore. And part of that, to me, is the shot clock. I want to get my numbers up. Yeah, I scored 20, 25, 30 points in high school. Just about every player you sign is in that category.
Right.
So when I can't get my minutes of playing time and my points in the bucket in college like I did in high school, it's not my fault. It's the coach's fault.
Yeah.
Well, they're not going to that team concept. And the ones that do, they're going to go to the mountaintop like Gonzaga. The ones who are going to make it, for the most part, they're buying in for the long run. And those are the guys that go to the mountaintop. Those are the ones that will be cutting down the nets and putting it around their
Now here comes Michael
putting
calling
around
in.
their nets.
Hold on, Mike. Let me see if I can get Michael.
The nets to the necks. It's kind of like, I think, Alabama and Nick Saban. They bought in for the long haul as it related to COVID testing, being distanced from, didn't have many
Well,
issues.
the other point you made is that a lot of key players decided to come back. Another part of this is not going pro, and the Alabama's team this year had about 4 or 5 players that easily could have gone pro last year and didn't.
Well, Najee Harris, Leatherwood, the linebacker, Dylan Moses, and I read an article where he played with a torn meniscus most of the season.
His play was really down from his freshman and sophomore
Smith,
year.
Those stud buckets came back, and that's the reason they crossed the T and dotted the I and put an exclamation point at the end of the sentence.
Yep.
I wonder if Dylan Moses will even get drafted now.
I wonder too. I think, I bet he gets a chance late in the round because people are going to look at the difference between him before his injury and after his injury. But I watched him some last year, and he was actually, I just thought he was a liability on the field. He just came back slower from a bad knee injury than some people do. And then now we learned that he had another injury he was dealing with. So bless his heart. Congratulations for toughing it out and doing what he did do.
His value probably was his experience and play calling ability and getting everybody lined up correctly. But they're going to be Troy, I think Alabama will be.
Well, let's put on
defensively will be.
Alabama going into the season had about 6 or 7 possible first-round draft picks, and Dylan Moses would have been in that list. And now he is, maybe go in the late rounds, maybe a free agent. But then on the other side of the coin, you got players that were off the radar as a possible early round draft pick. People like Christian Barmore, people like Mac Jones, people like the center, Landon Dickerson, who, because they did get to play, went from late round or free agent picks to possible first round picks.
He sold, Dickerson sold his bumper, his wooden, I think it was like a cross tie. He had it on the front of his truck, and he sold it, had an auction to help a dentist or someone in his hometown who was very
I like
sick.
it. He's a character. You know, he got hurt in the SEC championship game very late in that game, bad knee injury. And darn if he doesn't come back and dress out in the national championship game and actually do the last two snaps, you know, a month later or so. But I've been seeing him, footage of him working out in the off season. He looks like he's back to 100% right now. I saw a recent interview of Mac Jones after his pro day, and Mac Jones was doing an interview with somebody, and in the background, here comes Landon Dickerson doing cartwheels, literally doing 4 or 5 cartwheels right behind him. So his knee was okay to do.
He's a phenomenal athlete.
He's been through it.
I mean, Dickerson's a guy I think NFL teams would be crazy not to draft. He could probably play every position.
Yeah, and he seems to be a great teammate and leader. You know, everybody remembers the whole Alabama team coming out there to comfort him after he got hurt. And he transferred. Talk about transfer portal. It can help you, buddy. And but he got to play 2 years at Alabama, and was probably there for a spring too. So he had enough time to get acclimated with all his teammates and became one of the more popular players in recent Alabama history.
Well, as it relates to college football, Michael, you may have read the article where in Louisiana, State Senator Regina Barrow, Democrat Baton Rouge, on Thursday said that LSU football coach Ed Ogeron has been formally requested to testify on April the 8th at a hearing before the Louisiana State Senate Committee regarding a incident that happened at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome when an employee testified that Darius Geis harassed her and the coach tried to intervene. So he's been called to testify about that allegation.
Yeah, that could be. They're really looking. Several different people are looking at LSU and stuff that happened years ago, but this could be, pretty big. Remember what happened at Baylor when they had similar allegations?
Well, the former president of LSU, who was at Oregon State, has resigned as the president of Oregon State regarding his